Panchak with the Busy Mommy community, and I'm here for some tips that I learned about how to help your exhausted baby after daycare, to help you out with what I've personally learned through experience. So let's just start out with daycare can be hard on everyone. It can be hard for us as moms, it can be hard for our kids. And so I think the number one thing we can do is to prepare. We prepare our child and we prepare ourselves. Sometimes that involves showing up a day early, helping your child acclimate to the environment, learning to play with some of the toys, meeting the people that he or she will be with. That's one thing that I did with my daughter when we were starting daycare. She was nervous, I was nervous, so we just checked it out ahead of time and then we went home. In addition to checking out the daycare early, you can pack some items that are comforting. For my daughter, it's her baby doll. She loves having it in her backpack. And she has a water cup that she likes to use every day. The daycare has snacks that she likes, and if not, you can pack a couple of snacks that might be comforting for her. I also make sure to let my child know that I'm leaving. Some parents, you know, your child has a hard time, and so they let their kids get distracted with a toy or an activity, and then they run out the door. And the kids are often hysterical once they realize that their parents are gone. And for me personally, I would rather let my child know, deal with the discomfort of my child knowing that I'm leaving, but to not have any surprises or for the child to feel abandoned without any sort of warning. So I talk to my daughter, say, I'm leaving now, I love you. I give her a hug and I get out of there. But I also firmly believe that every parent knows their child best. And so I think you need to do what's best for you and for your child. That's just been my personal experience. And if you are having trouble with leaving your child at daycare, I often try to incentivize my children. My daughter was having trouble at preschool drop-off. And so I asked her, I said, what do you want to do together after preschool? I said, if drop-offs go really easy, we'll get to do an activity together. And so she likes to go to the dollar store. So after school, we'd go to the dollar store, or sometimes we'd watch a movie together. And for her, it was quality time. So if you can find an activity, and then when my daughter would kind of basically just have a complete meltdown in front of everyone, I would just say, remember, we're going to get to spend time together after this and watch a movie, but I really need good listening right now, and I need to do an easy drop-off today. And she'd kind of pick herself up and go, okay, yep, that's right, I want to watch a movie today. But eventually, drop-off became a breeze. I also like to talk to the daycare attendants and check in and ask them, how are things going? See if there's any recommendations they have for me that could make drop-off easier or pick up easier, because our children are often exhausted after daycare, right? Especially if they're younger and it's new to them. Babies can be so exhausted. And so I'll ask the attendant for some recommendations. I'll also let the daycare attendant know if there's some certain coping skills that work really well for my children. You know, I have a daughter who really, when she's overwhelmed, just needs to be alone. She needs to go sit in the corner and play with some toys, and she doesn't want anyone to comfort her. She just wants to be alone and regroup. And then when she's ready, she'll come and join everyone else. And so I let the daycare attendant know that. And so she was really great at giving my daughter her space when she was having a hard time. I also think it's really important that when daycare is over, the child has decompression time. So for my kids, sometimes this is watching a half-hour show, or it's doing little arts and crafts, or playing with a favorite toy, maybe some time at the park. But if they're totally exhausted, my youngest right now, she takes a nap. So she comes home from a few hours of daycare, takes a nap. And so you just have to find what's best for your child, but it's important for them to just have some time to work through all their feelings, right? It was a big day for them being at daycare. Just like we need decompression time at the end of the night once our kids go to bed, it's important for our children to have decompression time too, because our children can be so exhausted after daycare and so overstimulated. And now it's really important to remember that not only did your child have a potentially difficult day, but it could have been really hard for you too. It's okay if your child going to daycare is even harder for you than it is for them. I find my kids might cry for a few minutes and they're fine, but I might have this lingering guilt that I'm dropping my children off with someone else for the whole day. And it's hard. But I also remember that sometimes this is exactly what my kids need. They need stimulation that I just can't provide because I'm totally exhausted. Or I need to provide financially for my family. I don't have the option to have them home all day. And that's okay too. There are so many reasons why we send our children to daycare, and it's important to make sure that we've kind of come to terms with that, and that we honor that this is a need of ours or a preference, and that everyone is winning here. And remember, just because your baby might be exhausted after daycare, or you're exhausted, that's okay. They get used to it. You get used to it. Sometimes there's just a transition period. Okay, moms, I truly hope this has been a valuable discussion for you. And if you still have questions, I encourage you to reach out through our social channels or on our website. Also consider signing up for our newsletter to stay up to date for great tips like this. As always, Busy Mommy is here to help you get more done. Bye for now.